Hello there and welcome to the next installment of Dissertation Diaries. This is the second part in the How-To series on how to write a literature review. In this video, I'm going to tell you how you move from state to state in the article funnel. I touched upon it a little bit in the last video, but here we'll walk through the specifics of how it actually works and what you can expect when you're putting together your articles. Here I'm pulling up what the flowchart looks like. I wrote this last year so I could operationalize this process. What you'll see is you start here. This is my flowchart. And you'll notice it's not very pretty, and it doesn't have to be. But you start here. You go find an article and put it somewhere and put it on a list. Then you review the abstract. Is it relevant? No. Reject it. If it is, put it in the accepted notebook. Take an article out of the accepted notebook. You go through, download the source, download the article, and the reference into an Evernote folder or an Evernote notebook you call pending. So I have a pile of articles in pending at any moment in time. Read it, mark it up, move it into another folder. Marked up. Then you transcribe to literature matrix and move it into kept. Now what I do also is I highlight the row in the literature matrix to note that it hasn't been used yet in the literature review. I'll walk through all of that later, but this process here is what you need to go through. So at the end, you have a bunch of marked up relevant articles in your kept notebook. And the relevant sections that you've marked up have landed in the literature matrix. I'll talk more about the literature matrix later, but this is the overview. What'll happen at the end of this is you'll go in and create a mind map to help you find themes and subthemes. I'll talk about that more in a later video. This is the process here. I want you to understand this. If somebody would have told me this, it would have shaved a year easily off of my literature review, and it'd be much higher quality. I wish I'd have known this in the beginning. Now the challenge is, this takes a lot of time. It takes an enormous amount of time to get through this. To have 50 articles, you have to go through 50 steps. Times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have to first find 50, and then you have to review the abstract of 50, not all at once. You'll find 2 or 3, put them in a list, then take 1 or 2, find the abstract. But each of these articles, each of these 50 articles must progress through all these steps to accept them, pending, marked up, and kept. By the time you're done, you will have a bunch. And then you can find the themes and subthemes. I'll walk you through how to do that, and you have a literature matrix. When you have a literature matrix that's complete with entries, themes, and subthemes, you are in a position to create an incredible literature review in record time. Couple things to note. One is that you're not writing anything in the literature review while you're doing all this work. This could represent 2, 3, 4 months worth of work to get all of your articles. And during that time, nothing is showing up in your literature review. When I discovered this, I stopped writing my literature review. My dissertation chair was not happy with that. Another thing to keep in mind is that you need to pace yourself. You see, there are 5 steps here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps you need to take for each article. And you have at least 50 articles. You'll have more than that, but call it 50. And not all 50 will go through all these steps. So you'll maybe start with 70, 80, 90 articles that'll go through some portion of the steps so that 50 come out the back. The point is, you do the math, you've got hundreds of steps here. The question needs to be then, how do you pace yourself? What I tried doing was doing 2 or 3 or 4 a day, and then 10 or 20, 10 or so a day on the weekend. Because each of these steps generally can take about an hour per article. I would go through, read a book, highlight a bunch, and then go find the abstract and read those and try to decide whether or not it was valid. I would then download it and put it in the accepted pile. That can take half an hour per article. So you're looking at many, many hours of work. The key is to pace yourself. However you want to break it down, pick your number, but you can project based on how many steps you do a day, how long it'll take you to get through 50 articles. That's where the magic is once you operationalize it like this. Just go through the process. None of these require any magic. The hardest part is going to be finding an article. Go through this process. Set up your lists, set up your folders, get prepared, go through this process, set up a calendar, set up a schedule, plan on the 2-3 months, whatever it takes to collect all of this information. And then you can write your literature review literally in a matter of weeks. I'll walk you through it. If you follow this process and even improve it, you'll find that you have a beautiful literature review in record time. As always, like and subscribe. I'll answer any comments, or at least read every comment in the video. So feel free to tell me how this is working for you.